Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrew Hall. You may call me Dr. Kennard. I was going to call myself Dr. Burrito after the thumbnail for this video here. The thumbnail is taken from the Facebook group Atheist Comedy Burrito, one of the groups that I run. It's a fun little group full of atheist memes and spicy fun. But we have to talk about business. We have to talk about what happened last night with the election of Virginia governor, gone to the Republicans. New Jersey governorship, probably gone to the Republicans. Is there going to be a recount? I believe so. And I don't want to be that person who tries to shove puppy dogs and rainbows up your butt, because I'm not that guy. But yeah, 2 out of 4 of the Democratic Socialists of America candidates did win in my city, at least. We got 2 city councilors who are DSA members. That's positive a bit. So let's take and of course the law, the proposed law, the ballot initiative in Minneapolis did not pass. That initiative would have rebranded, changed the police department from being more fascist, from being fascisty to being less fascisty, from being more punishment oriented to being more protective. So that went down in flames. So what are we doing here? I feel like I'm back in therapy when the therapist is thinking about, things have been going a bit tangentially, Andy. Maybe we should get back to topic. What are we doing here? Let's take a look at the broader picture. Are Democrats dispirited? Sure they are. I'm sure they are. Because we live in a broken system here in the United States of America where legislation really doesn't happen. What happens are executive orders. What happens are Supreme Court decisions. What doesn't happen is major legislation. Donald J. Trump was only able to get tax cuts passed during his presidency. Only tax cuts? Wow. Was it that difficult? Yeah, that's the only thing. He wanted to do many other things, everyone. Microphones just saying, wow, that's the only thing he did legislatively. Yeah. We live in a broken system with the fact that the legislative branch does not do what it should be. And this is what happens, is that this is the recipe for fascism. I'm still going to keep talking about fascism. This is what happens, is that when one branch of government can't do its job, its power shifts to the other branches, in this case, the Supreme Court, and more toxically to the executive branch. Now we saw what happened with Donald J. Trump. He was more than willing to push the envelope as much as he could with his executive privilege, with his executive power. Joe Biden seems to be more of a traditional president that doesn't want to do those type of things. And so this is an effect. People become dispirited. They don't want to vote for Democrats because of all the fiasco that's been going on in terms of the Build Back Better bill, in terms of what's going on in Congress. Because the only thing we've been hearing about is Senator Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema basically mucking up the works, keeping Biden's legislative agenda, just miring it down, not doing anything with it. And that has created a fair amount of, how can you be excited about it, microphone? How can you be excited about the Democrats when, by all appearances, they can't get anything done in Congress? Once again, I don't think it's the Democrats' fault. It just like, and I'm going to say this, it wasn't the Republicans' fault that they couldn't pass anything either when Trump was president. It is a problem with the system itself. The legislative branch of government here in the United States of America is a junior partner. At the best, it's a junior partner. With, of course, the executive branch being the major partner, the Supreme Court, and then down here at the basement, we have the legislative branch, and that's a problem. That is so much of a problem. These are chronic issues that we're facing as a country and as a society, and we saw the manifestations of that last night. Yeah, tough news for what, Wednesday morning. I'm going to say hello to everyone here in the chat. I don't know how your local elections went. Hopefully you went out and you voted yesterday. What's up, Dave? So there's some kind of incident going on. Some kind of incident going outside your house. Well, what's up, Cryptameria? Glad to see that you're here. Yeah, we're going to be talking about evangelicals too, of course, about how they hate America. Another poll that shows that evangelicals hate America, hate pluralism. And what is the United States of America if it isn't about pluralism? But we're going to get to that in a second, everyone. What's up, Tobin Templeman? Glad to see that you're here. John Hudson. All right. Who else? Who else has got to? Good morning, sir. And did I get everyone? I think I got everyone. Paul Camish. What's up, Paul Camish? Get to see the trash bin fire here. That is the United States of America day after the election, after an election. Yeah. All right. Dee Parks. Glad to see that you're here. All right. Let's talk about evangelicals here in the States. New poll that came out saying that yes. And is there an infographic? There's an infographic. Sure there is. The link to the story, to the full story, is in the description below. This is from the Friendly Atheist. Let's take a look. This title, survey, most white evangelicals wish America was a Christian-only bubble. Let's look at that title again. Most white evangelicals wish America was a Christian-only bubble. It seems, and this is going to be so surprising to all of you, that white evangelical Christians, their wet dream is to have a Christian state. And when they say Christian, like a Christian society, we know what that means. That means an evangelical society. Let's take a look at this lovely graph. And this is from American Values Survey, PRRI. Of course, it's from 2021, the most recent survey. Preference for religious diversity versus Christian majority in the U.S. by religious affiliation. All Americans. Now, this is scary. I would prefer the U.S. to be made up of people belonging to a wide variety of religions. That's good. 38%. Yay. All Americans. That's good, right? Kind of, sort of. And other people say middle of the scale. And then 24% of all Americans say I would prefer the U.S. to be a nation primarily made up of people who follow the Christian faith. 24%. That 24 to 25%. What's the over under? What are the chances that they're all Trump supporters? Pretty freaking high, I would say. And then you have white evangelical Protestants. Wow, that's 57% agree with. I would prefer the U.S. to be a nation primarily made up of people who follow the Christian faith. And let's face it, when we talk about white evangelicals, we covered the story yesterday. We know that white evangelicals don't care about Jesus. What do they care about? They care about being white. They care about Donald Trump. And they care about taking and using political and social power. That's what they care about. You got to read in between the lines and notice the code. 30% of white evangelical Protestants are in the middle of the scale. They're only kind of sort of against America. And only 13% of white evangelical Protestants say, I would prefer the U.S. to be made up of people belonging to a wide variety of religions. And you can see the difference between white evangelical Protestants and white Catholics. And ladies and gentlemen and small furry animals from Alpha Centauri, there's one thing that we all know what would happen. The minute white evangelical Protestants seize power in this country, Catholics will discover that they are not Christians. A lot of people are going to find out pretty fast. If the Christian Taliban, evangelical Taliban take power, a lot of people who call themselves Christians will not officially be Christians. You look at Black Protestants, also problematical. 33% agree to be in a country made up primarily of the Christian faith. Hispanic Catholics seem to be a bit more centered with saying pluralism isn't that bad. And of course, the unaffiliated who understand there seems to be some kind, and those who are non-Christians also prefer to have a country made up of a variety of different faiths. It seems like, and tell me if I'm wrong, chap, that the unaffiliated and the non-Christian folks who answered this poll seem to be more American, who agree with religious pluralism or with pluralism in general. Is that surprising, microphone? Microphone's not surprised that the fascists like fascism. Good point, microphone. Going to check out the chat before we go to the next. Maybe we're going to do the tummy rub show after this. Maybe, perhaps. Let's see. Has anyone told them it's 2021 and you don't need a sky daddy? That would be nice. Yes. Evangelicals hate Catholics and they hate everything. Yeah. Well, yeah. All right. Let's do the halftime tummy rub show. Quick little kitty cat oriented video, maybe.
You know what? I don't think you even respect the scariness of me because I am so scared. You know what? I don't think you even respect the scariness of me because I am so scared.
A little bit of cat makes the bitter pill of politics and society, the current state of affairs, go down a little bit easier, don't they? Right? All right, so what's the next story we're covering today? Good question. Let's do the answer. Senate Democrats reach agreement on prescription drug prices. Is there anything in ink? No. Was this just a way to fluff up the base, maybe, to give a little quick hand job to the Democratic base on the eve of a major election? Maybe. Are there signs that the Democrats may actually have their act together? And in true Democrat fashion, right? They would pull it all together right after when they needed to get it done. Let's take a look at this story. CNN, under fire for jettisoning plans to address prescription drug prices in the Democrats' sweeping spending package. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer announced Tuesday that an agreement has been reached to lower drug costs. Details have yet to be released, but Schumer said the deal will empower Medicare to negotiate prices of both medications that are administered in doctors' offices and that are purchased at the pharmacy, reducing the financial burden on parents. It will also cap out-of-pocket spending at $2,000 a year, as well as reform the industry to stop price gouging, he said. Sounds quite hopeful. What I can hear, at least someone in the chat, someone watching going, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. And I applaud the skeptic in you, to tell you the truth, whoever's thinking that. While not as expansive as we had originally proposed, I'm hopeful the agreement's new inflation rebate and out-of-pocket cap for seniors will work in tandem with Medicare's negotiation authority to meaningfully lower prescription drug costs for Americans, said Energy and Commerce Committee Chairman Frank Pallone Jr., a Democrat from New Jersey. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who has pushed to allow Medicare to negotiate, said she was pleased with the compromise. The initial proposal called for the requiring the Health and Human Services Secretary to negotiate maximum fair prices of at least 50 and as many as 250 high-cost medications that lack competition, including insulin. What do you mean? There's no way to regulate the cost of insulin right now? That sounds crazy. What kind of country does that? The price would also have been available to Medicare beneficiaries and to individuals enrolled in group health plans. A lot of that sounds, it's not what people were looking for, right? But it definitely sounds like it's a step in the right direction. Fixing prescription drug pricing has consistently been a top issue for Americans year after year. Fixing including the vast majority of both Republicans and Democrats who want to see it change because they simply cannot afford their medication, said Schumer, noting that the $1.75 trillion reconciliation bill could come to the floor of the Senate the week of November 15th if the House passes it this week. Moderate Democrat Senator Kristen Sinema of Arizona, who helped tank the party's original plan to allow Medicare to negotiate the prices of certain drugs, affirmed her support for the new deal. Yeah, she says she supports it. Joe, we're going to watch a video later about Joe Biden saying Joe Manchin is also on board. But yeah, there's something about, I don't know. I got my skeptical glasses on. That's what I have. Reaction to the deal's announcement was mixed across patient advocacy groups, with some calling it a big advance and others only a step forward, preventing prices from rising faster than inflation and adding a hard out-of-pocket cap to Part D, that's Medicare, would provide real relief for seniors with the highest drug costs, said AARP CEO Joanne Jenkins of the limit to spending at the pharmacy. Odd sentence there. But Robert Weissman, president of Public Citizen, said the new agreement fails to fully empower Medicare to negotiate prices. This agreement falls short of what Americans want and deserve to stop big pharma price gouging, but it is a step forward nonetheless, said Weissman said, based on terms reported earlier today. And a little bit of trivia, the state of Maine already negotiates with drug companies in terms of pricing, drug prices. And microphone's like, that sounds crazy, that a state negotiates drug prices for its programs, but the federal government doesn't. That's right, microphone. That's how crazy our country is. Checking out the chat. John Hudson, you've been working the late shift with taking care of the baby. John Hudson. Yeah, Dee Parks. Drug costs are crazy. It would be nice. It would be great because we know. Let's back up. We know that 66.5, I think 66.6 maybe % of all bankruptcies in the United States of America are due to medical bills. We covered this story time and time again. And it's criminal that Congress hasn't acted on this. It's criminal. Yes, insulin should be free, and this is disgusting. It is. John Hudson, don't be stingy with your likes. Thank you for pointing that out, John Hudson. I appreciate it. All right. Just want to point out, everyone, that we're doing the after party after show at 9:30. This show goes until 9:25. If you want to come on the panel, the link to be on the panel is in the description below. You have to be part of the community. I have to know who you are to be on the show, basically, and know that you're not going to be porn bombing the after party after show. All right. What do we got for another story? Do we have more stories? Yeah, we have more stories. Let's see. Oh, I want to share with you the video about Joe Biden saying that Joe Manchin is totally, probably, possibly on board. Listen to how Joe Biden talks. Another little bit of trivia here about the United States of America. We elect governors to be president more than senators. Senators have a way of talking in a fashion, being in a fashion that just doesn't always command the respect of someone sitting in the big chair should, right? And so just notice how Joe Biden talks in a very senatorial way as against someone who has been a governor and becomes president, who speaks in declarative sentences in bullet points. I don't think it's a Joe Biden thing as much as it's a fact that he was in the Senate for so long. All right, so let's take a look at this video. The name of the video is President Joe Biden says Senator Joe Manchin will be there on spending bill. Will he? Will he? That's a good question, everyone. All right, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna shut off my mic.
Mr. President, you're touting on this visit your $1.75 trillion plan that includes climate, but your party is still not united behind it. Senator Joe Manchin yesterday called it budget gimmicks, shell games, and a recipe for economic crisis. Today, he said he never signed off on the framework. So do you have a specific commitment from Senator Manchin to support your Build Back Better bill? Yes or no? And how do you respond to those criticisms? And I have a quick follow-up.
Number one, I'm not going to talk about the specifics of my conversations. He will vote for this if we have in this proposal what he has anticipated, and that is looking at the fine print and the detail of what comes out of the House in terms of the actual legislative initiatives. I believe that Joe will be there. With regard to the issue of whether or not he thinks that he's worried about this being inflationary or going to be negative impact on the economy, I think that I've made it clear to Joe, and will continue to, and we will, that as I've apologized for repeating it, Peter, but 17 Nobel laureates on economics said it's going to lower inflation, raise wages, increase competition, create 2 million jobs a year, et cetera. And so I think that I understand that Joe is looking for the precise detail to make sure nothing got slipped in terms of the way in which the legislation got written that is different than he acknowledged he would agree to. But I think we'll get this done.
I think that when all is said and done, more will be said than done, but also the fact that there wasn't a hard push to make, and I'm going to say it again, everyone, to make Puerto Rico a state and to make Washington, D.C. a state. People talked about stacking the Supreme Court. We should have been stacking the Senate, because then if we did something like that, we wouldn't have to worry about Joe Manchin or Kristen Sinema. We would have gotten 4 more Senate seats. If you're going to use your political capital, that would have been a far better idea. And what was Joe Biden doing in Europe? What was he doing in Glasgow? I know what he was doing, everyone, in Glasgow. But there was a major election here in the States. There was a major election going on. I don't know if it would have meant any different, but I think it's bad optics. And that's and this is what I've been saying about Joe Biden all along. And I'm not one to shit on Joe Biden. I've gone on other people's channels and I've talked about, when the shitstorm starts happening about Joe Biden, I'm like, hey, he's done good things, and he has, but he's not a great campaigner. He isn't a great campaigner. He's been sitting in that seat, and that Senate seat in Delaware for decades. When you've seen him run for president before, he wasn't that great. I still assert that the only reason why he won election last time around is because of Donald Trump's screwing up of COVID response. Is Joe Biden going to be called the next Jimmy Carter or Jimmy Carter Nouveau? Maybe, possibly, probably. Just bad political instincts. If I was on the team, I would not have recommended him to go overseas. I wouldn't have. It's as simple as that. All right, we're getting close to the end of the show. Once again, there are no ads here. If you want to contribute, please do. Thank you, YouTube members, and thank you, patrons. It's appreciated. Going to check out the chat one more time before dropping the last funny video. He tries, John Hudson. He tries. He just tries. Yeah. It's like Terry the guy in Virginia running for governor. He never impressed me. The one who lost last night, the Democrat who lost last night in Virginia, he always struck me as a creature of the Democratic Party, a creature of the DNC, and not a scrapper, not someone who can win when the chips are down, when the wind is going against him. He's not that guy. What's up, Dr. Osiris? Glad to see that you're here. All right. I'm going to throw down the last video. I'm going to throw down, well, actually, it's the penultimate video. I'm going to throw down the cat video and then jump right over to the thank you for patrons and YouTube members. I'm going to talk with my hands here. And I'll see you at 9:30, everyone.
This is why you don't climb on the freaking counters. Augustus, calm down. Mommy's got you. Hold on. Hold on. I don't even know what you did. Oh my God.
How did she get that cat? I said I was going to go right to the next video, but I'm lying. How did she get that cat out of the mat? How did that happen? That's crazy. All right. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you at 9:30.